Live at the conclusion of Ohio State's massive shutout of the Western Michigan Broncos. That was a fun game to watch, and it was enjoyable to see everyone get involved.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
A live postcast at the conclusion of Ohio State's massive win over Western Michigan, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here on a Saturday evening, I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast, and this postcast is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Earlier this week, I think it was actually yesterday's show, I mentioned that my score prediction for Ohio State in this game was 52-0, a massive shutout of the Western Michigan Broncos. I know some people may have thought, dude, you're crazy. A shutout? This team? Yeah, Western Michigan, they're not up to Ohio State standard, but of course they're going to try to score a little bit. They tried. They were unsuccessful. 13 drives, 11 punts. One of them ended at the end of the first half. And what do we find right now? Ohio State's defense is loaded. It was fun to see everyone get involved. We knew what Ohio State's defense could do or what it could be. And yes, a lot of the attention on Saturday evening was on the Buckeyes offense, as it should be. 56 points. You score 50 points in back-to-back games to start the season. That's a major accomplishment. But then you look at that defense. They haven't allowed a touchdown all season long. Last weekend, a couple field goals by Accurate. Okay, cool. That's one thing. But to follow that up with a game that Western Michigan couldn't get anything going at all. Yeah, I also understand there were some younger guys playing. There were some guys playing a little bit earlier than normal. Didn't phase anything. And my thought about this defense, we're learning about how deep this defense currently is right now. Yeah, we know the front guys. But after last week, C.J. Hicks and Arvell Reese, they're going to play a lot this year. That is huge. What else do we know? Caden Curry, Hero Canoe, Caden McDonald, Keanu Jackson Jr., Mitchell Melton, they can go as well. On offense, speaking of everybody get involved, on offense, you had Austin Cerebral start his second game of his career once again in the backfield. Really pick your poison. Henderson, is it his time? Judkins, is it his time? It didn't matter. Ohio State needed a total team effort today. Ryan Day challenged them this week. Hey, make no mistakes. Hey, stay focused. Hey, make sure you're getting all the distractions out of the way. It's working. It's working, y'all. And I've been saying in the preseason and early in the year, this should be a special year. Well, if it should be a special year, this is how you want things to start. A couple lesser G5 schools, a couple schools that, well, aren't on Ohio State's caliber up to Ohio State standard, and you get an outcome like this. Ohio State in this game, when I speak of Western Michigan not being able to get anything going, it's not just not being able to get anything going. It's a little bit different when you look at the numbers. They were held to under 75 passing yards for the game, 71 passing yards total. Western Michigan only ran for 28 yards, a 0.9 yards per pop. This is what you want. Now, knowing this is what you want is one thing, but getting that and then allowing everyone to get involved is another. I mean, I can't remember how many times early in the game, Cody Simon, a big stop on the first drive on third down. I believe it was a third now. Another big tackle later in the game. Almost it had an interception during his first game of the year, first start of the year. Didn't play last weekend. So you got Cody Simon. And then on the defensive side of the ball, what else do you have? You also have, you got Jack Sawyer hitting the quarterback once again, making his presence felt. You had Caden McDonald making a big-time tackle, a big-time stop, and then waving that Matumbo finger, not in my house. What else did you have? You also had Arvell Reese out there making plays. You had Tuimoloau doing his thing. You had Caleb Downs coming from the safety spot, reading it, snapping the ball. That bad boy's basically in the backfield, stopping the ball carry. Now, some of y'all may say Denzel Burke didn't play a lot. You're correct. That was a bang play. All of a sudden, Denzel Burke gets kicked out for targeting. But it didn't really seem like there was a major drop-off in production by the Buckeyes defense, even though there is. If Burke's not out there, there's a drop-off, a major drop-off. But Matthews Jr. is a really good backup. But Ohio State's defense, there were so many guys. There's younger guys that got out there that made plays. There's older guys. We got to see Gabe Powers late in the game making a play too. This is what you want from the Buckeyes defense right now. You want them to show up, you want them to do exactly what they're doing, and you want them to respond in this way when challenged. It's week number 2, second game of the year. Ohio State also knows next week is, well, it's not an off week as they call it. They're calling it an improvement week. Why? Because it's a week for the Buckeyes to improve. That's a championship mindset. They're talking about things and they're acting in a way that they're showing, hey, even in these games with lesser opponents, you're not going to be able to get anything started. Hey, even in these games or in weeks where we're not even playing, we're going to improve. And if you're improving off of last week's performance and this week's performance, watch out, Marshall. Watch out, Michigan State. Watch out, Iowa. Watch out, Oregon. Because y'all are the next schools on Ohio State's schedule prior to their next off week, which is another improvement week. Then everybody else on the schedule, y'all better watch out too. This team is ready, man. There's a different vibe about this team right now. I don't normally say that about Ohio State, especially after week number 2. I'm more of a wait and see kind of guy, and I'm still kind of a wait and see about some players. We'll talk about those things over the next few days and over the next few weeks. I'm still in a wait and see mode because we haven't seen enough ball to come out here and say, oh, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, or have enough data on this year's team to make these big, bold proclamations. But I can't make a big, bold proclamation right now about this thing. I don't care if you're Ohio State. I don't care what school you are. If you open up your season with 2 performances where you don't give up a touchdown, you can build up on that. And in those games, you're allowing guys that are depth pieces, thinking on the defensive line, think about how many snaps, and I can't wait to dig into the snap counts of the defensive linemen to see how many snaps the backups in that second group, the second line, got this week. Caden Curry, I've been high on him since he was in high school. Been high on him since he's been at Ohio State. There was a Rushman package where homie was that D tackle on the 3 tech. And I'm thinking, now I knew he could do that coming in, or I had a feeling that he could. But seeing him do that with Jack Slater to his left, I forget who the other 2 defensive linemen were on this play, thinking, oh, this is exactly what we thought we would get this year. Depth, moving guys around, being able to have different variations of different things on defense. Buckeyes defense is loaded. Capitalize all those letters. It's loaded. And you want this. They're responding well when challenged. They're not shying away from anything. They know everybody they play is going to give them their best shot. You're Ohio State. Even if the offseason was not the way that it was, you are the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're going to get everybody's best. And in the process of getting everybody's best, they're still saying, you're going to throw your best shot. We're going to throw our best shot. But our best might come with 10 darts. Yours comes with 3. And we got 10 in the beginning. Then we got 5 more and 4 more and 18 more. Why? Because we're that good. We are that team. And the defense showed up once again. Everybody got involved. And man, it was a whole lot of fun to watch. Everybody got involved on defense. The whole team got involved, which means we got a lot of big-time plays for the Buckeyes offense in prime time. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. This postcast is brought to you by our friends at Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus has the best selection of pool tables, game tables, shuffleboard tables, and more. And the best service is Central Ohio. Everything you need for in-home and even backyard entertainment Guys, it's at Billiards Plus. Billiards Plus carries the best pool tables from Brunswick, Austin, Canada, Billiards, and more. They are family owned and operated, and when you talk to the staff at Billiards Plus, you're going to know you're talking to an expert who won't steer you wrong. No matter the season, Billiards Plus has you covered for all your indoor and outdoor entertainment needs. Kenny, Sarah, and the whole staff will always go above and beyond to give you the best customer service in the industry. Billiards Plus. Visit their showroom on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin. Thank you, everyone, tapping into this live postcast on the YouTube after Ohio State's massive 56-0 win in rout of the Western Michigan Broncos. The Buckeyes defense was amazing. A lot of guys got involved. That was the same thing on offense, too. The Buckeyes offense in this game, they totaled, they put up a lot of yards, y'all. It was just so much fun to watch. 267 on the ground, 416 through the air. Numerous Buckeye quarterbacks played in this game. I believe 4 total. 3 of them actually threw the ball. Will Howard, phenomenal. Julian Sand got in the mix, 100% in this game. And then Devin Brown was 5 for 5 himself. It was just from start to finish. First drive, second drive, third drive. Oh, 21-0 that quickly. Oh, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56. And all the while, it seemed like it didn't matter. Chip Kelly kind of showed some things in this playbook. He showed some things tonight where everyone is saying, yo, this is a little bit different. What we're showing right now is that Ohio State just has all these tools in its bag. Doesn't matter if Will Howard's out there throwing the ball around, if he's handing off to Quinshawn Judkins or handing off to Travion Henderson or James Peebles, whoever it is, it doesn't matter what's going on. The Buckeyes got so many options. It's going to be so hard to stop. Now, I don't know which touchdown this was. Numbers for Will Howard. I do know. It was Jeremiah. I think it was Jeremiah Smith's maybe only touchdown. Yeah, it was 70-yard touchdown in the first quarter. It was an RPO. And it was an RPO. I forget who the back was, but he faked the handoff. He had 2 pass options right in front of him. One of them is in traffic over the middle. The other one's to his right. Now, it would have been a more shallower throw, would have been closer to the line of scrimmage, and would have been a gain, maybe a first down. But Jeremiah Smith caught that ball in the midst of 3 guys. Next thing you know, that young buck skedaddled. He got out of there to the end zone. And so on that play, I'm thinking, it kind of dawned on me, which I knew we talked about it, kind of seeing how Chip Kelly is going to maybe utilize some of the weapons he has right now. We saw some quick screens. We saw various handoffs and different formations. We saw 14 personnel. Literally, I don't know which touchdown it was. I'm gonna look at my notes really quickly. I forget exactly which touchdown it was, but there was a it was a touchdown run early in the game. Travion Henderson's touchdown run early in the game. 14 personnel, 1 back, 4 tight ends. That's not normal Ohio State stuff. Now, what I think Chip Kelly is showing is not something I think he needs to show right now, but it's fun to see some tricks in the back. It's fun to have Chip Kelly kind of show everyone, y'all think we got these weapons, but y'all don't know how we're really going to utilize them. And this is a game plan for Western Michigan. Wait for that Oregon playbook. Wait for that Iowa playbook. Wait for those teams that got really, 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 really good defenses to see exactly how Chip Kelly is going to go into his lab and whip some stuff up. For Jeremiah Smith, I'm going to talk about Jeremiah Smith and Will Howard later on in the final segment. But, man, Quinshawn Judkins, I had numerous predictions for the Buckeyes offense this weekend. I thought, hey, both Henderson and Judkins would score. I thought Will Howard would throw 3 passing touchdowns. He only threw 1. I probably should have gone a little bit deeper with the rushing touchdowns because Judkins had 2, Henderson had 2, Peoples had 1, and Will Howard had 1. It was a run to the right. I believe it was I forget the exact term, boot to the right, fake handoff, roll out right. Basically ran to the corner of the end zone. Then threw up the OH there to the fans and that side of the end zone. It was fun to see, but is this what we're going to get from the Buckeyes run game going forward? Make it a variation of it. You're not going to get almost 10 guys one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 guys getting rushes in this game. You're not going to get that. That's not going to happen. So just keep that in mind. Like, you're not going to get that many guys touching the ball, getting the ball handed off to them. You're not going to get that. However, I can legitimately see Judkins, Henderson, and maybe Peoples being the three-headed monster in the backfield, focusing primarily on Henderson and Judkins. Judkins had 8 carries for 101 yards on the ground, 12.6 yards a pop, and 2 touchdowns. Of course, that was yards per pop is inflated. He had an 80-yard touchdown run in this game. Trevion Henderson, 10 for 66. Peoples, 11 for 51. Williams Dixon, 3 for 40. It's just fun, man. I was kind of nervous about this backfield throughout the leading into the season. I'm not going to lie to you. I was actually very nervous. Not so much nervous about the top 2 guys. What would Lachlan do with 3 and 4? Because the top 4 guys are all scholarship guys, and there's a massive gap between production and experience between Henderson and Judkins. Major gap. And then you got Peoples and Williams Dixon. But Williams and Dixon and Peoples are showing you we can step up. Y'all can rely on us. Y'all are comfortable showing us this formula now, then we can show everybody else that formula as well. And I know it's early. I know it's Akron. I know it's Western Michigan. But these guys need these reps. I've never been a person that says, hey, in mop-up duty, throw the ball all around the yard for the young quarterbacks. You want them to play, but throw the ball all around the yard? No, not normally. Normally, that's not it. No, but I do think you want to get these guys reps. Now, when you want to get guys reps, that allows you for a running back who's a backup, you're going to get the ball handed off to you. You're going to show everybody what you can do. And the fact that that's what's going to happen. You're going to be playing up against guys that aren't starters, so it's going to be the other team's 2s, primarily for your Williams Dixon. Peoples might get thrown in with the 1s, but realistically, you're probably going to go up against guys that are more your caliber, probably in a backup role. And if you show, hey, even against these guys right now, even though it's my first time playing at this level, I'm getting the job done. I am being productive. I'm stepping up when I need to step up. What does that say for everyone? Watch out for the future. Watch out about what is going to happen next. Watch out for this backfield. I'm not here to make any big, bold statements about the backfield now, but what they'll be the rest of the year. But maybe it might be in a crucial moment this year where Ohio State needs a third back, where the top 2 guys, they're getting it done, but they're getting a little tired. They need somebody else there. Hey, people are showing if he's continually get these reps and continuing to figure out, hey, here's how to hit the hole, here's how to do X, Y, and Z. The fact that he's leading the team in carries in this game kind of shows about how Ryan Day and Carlos Lachlan are viewing these first couple of games, maybe even the game against Marshall in a couple of weeks, for Peoples to get his feet under him, for Peoples to get his feet wet, for Peoples to get up to speed with college football. The run game was a lot of fun to watch. The passing game, electric. Being able to have Jeremiah Smith in back-to-back weeks to lead the team in receptions, receiving yards. Didn't lead him in yards per carry, yards per reception. That will go to Bennett Christian as he caught a 55-yard touchdown pass from Julian Sand. Sand got his first touchdown of his Buckeye career, of his young career as well. Hey, kudos. Shout out to him. But I believe it's his first time playing in a college football game, too. I don't think he played last week. So Bennett Christian, especially after coming off that year-long suspension for Bennett Christian last year for testing positive for PEDs, good for him, man. Getting back out there, figuring out his role, really staying in shape and keeping his mind right so that when he is able to step up this year, he does just that. Someone that is stepping up, or 2 guys that are stepping up that continue to impress us with their play. It's Will Howard and Jeremiah Smith. Both of those young men did big things tonight in the shoe. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks. That makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Don't you want to go to a place that helps you find incredible deals and helps you get rid of all the stuff that you don't want, all the stuff that you may classify as nonsense? That's Gametime. They still provide the panoramic view from your seat. They still got that lowest price guarantee, and they got the Gametime ticket coverage too, which allows your purchase to be covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Your first purchase, terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Game time. Thank you for tapping into this Locked on Buckeyes postcast after Ohio State's massive shutout of the Western Michigan Broncos. Ohio State won the game 56-0. Are you as impressed? And there's a good chance you are as impressed with Will Howard's performance as I am, and even Jeremiah Smith's, and the trust that Howard has with Smith. Hint, hint, hint. It's probably going to come up multiple times over the next week shows. But let's start with Howard before going to Jeremiah Smith. I won't dive too much into their connection tonight and may come Monday or Tuesday of next week. But Will Howard in this game, at the end of the game, 19-28, 300 passing yards, 1 touchdown, a passer rating of 169.6. It's pretty good. I don't know the length or the height of the passer rating for quarterbacks. Because I do know in the NFL, the cap on passer rating is 158.3. It's the highest it could go. In college football, there really is no cap. But I know if you're doing something and the number is 169.6, you're doing something right. And Will Howard was locked in, man. It didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter the time of the game. He was locked in. I believe he completed either his first 10 passes or his first 11 passes of the game. And he was just ready. It was first 10 passes. His 11th was an incomplete pass that was intended for Jelani Thurman, who had a few balls thrown his way early in the game. I think they kind of realized we don't have to go to all of our weapons, the top weapons now. Let's get some of these other guys involved. But Will Howard has complete control of the offense from the jump. From Jump Street, he understands the game plan. Will Howard knows what Ryan Day and Chip Kelly expect from him. He is stepping up to the challenge. He is stepping up his own standard for his own play. This is what Ohio State wanted in a quarterback this year. They wanted a guy that can lead the offense. They wanted a guy that they could trust. They wanted someone that had the respect of his peers, which is huge. It would be kind of weird if Will Howard, at this point of the season, didn't have the trust fully in the teammates. Yeah, some guys might say, hey, man, you got to get out there in the Buckeye uniform and then you'll get my trust. That might be the case. However, there are some guys on the team that are going to sit up here and say, no, Will, you got my back. I got your back. I understand what you want. I understand exactly what you can do. I got it. I can do it. Will Howard is showing everyone right now, number 18. He's number 18 in the roster. Right now, some of y'all might view him as number 1 in your heart because he's controlling things. You want a quarterback that's a little bit more mobile? Great. You want a quarterback that can make the throws? Great. You want a quarterback that in the moment realizes a throw to Jeremiah Smith was not thrown as deep with as much air under it as it needs to be, and he instantly says, hey, that's me. And even on the broadcast showed, hey, who did the whole bend back better, the drum major or Will Howard? And it was kind of fun to see them kind of do that lean back on that throw. Will Howard grabbed his face mask, started leaning back. And I'm not going to do all that. I'm sitting in a chair, and I might kind of break the chair and all that kind of stuff if I went all the way back. Not really break the chair, but it wouldn't feel good for anyone. So Will Howard, I am here for these improvements. One of the best things I saw from Will Howard today wasn't really in regards to his arm, but that was fun, or his legs. That was fun too. This one is part of his legs, not running past the line of scrimmage. The way he eludes tacklers. There was a couple times. One of them was, I believe, a second or third down, probably second down, because the Buckeyes didn't punt the ball that much today. But it was one time on second down, Will Howard had a guy coming right in his face on front side. It was a blitzer untouched. The blitzer comes in. Will Howard sees him at the last minute, quickly uses his arm, I believe his left arm, to push him, using his shoulder pads on the defender's left side, used his shoulder pad, used his own momentum to push him out the way. He slid a little bit, slid out of the tackler's space, out of his radius, out of his circle, bubble maybe, and then got the pass off, complete pass. Now, I'm not sitting up here to say Kyle McCord could not do that this year. I am sitting up here to say this is what Ohio State wants their quarterback to do this year. Kyle McCord, phenomenal game on Saturday. Syracuse beat Georgia Tech by 3. The stat line was a really good one for Kyle McCord. So if you want to follow Buckeye quarterbacks, former Buckeye quarterbacks and even current Buckeye quarterbacks, today on Saturday did some big things. Quinn Ewers beat Michigan in the Big House. Shout out to you. Kyle McCord, Syracuse beat Georgia Tech. Kyle McCord had a day. Shout out to you. And then Will Howard, the numbers, passing yards, they aren't the craziest. 19 to 28, 300 passing yards, but he's getting the job done. That's all anybody wants, for Will Howard to get the job done, stay within the confines of the playbook of what the coaches are asking of him, and he's doing just that. Now, when it comes to Jeremiah Smith, I saw somebody on Twitter say that the record for most receiving yards by a freshman at Ohio State is like 628 by Chris Carter. That number might not be accurate, but I do know it's 600 something. Brian Smith, who Locked On's recruiting analyst a few weeks ago, said he predicts Jeremiah Smith to have 50 catches, 800 yards, and 10 touchdowns this year, and at the end of the year to be the best receiver in the Big Ten. One, I think he might get that. He should eclipse the 800 receiving yards prediction that Brian Smith has, but also that means that he's going to break Ohio State single season receiving record for a freshman receiver. He also might break more records now in regards to freshman receivers and receivers in general, because he's that good. Now, I don't know if he'll do the whole total receptions in a season thing, because that's a lofty number, as he currently has 12. And also, they don't need him to do 10 or 12 or 15 catches in a game when you've got Ibuka, Tate, and Ennis on the field with him. But Jeremiah Smith, man, the trust that Will Howard has in him, that's a little insane for a guy playing a second game in college, especially when Will Howard's a newcomer here too. It's really insane that a guy who just turned 18 has the trust of his quarterback in this way. But even on that throw that I kind of highlighted earlier, where Jeremiah Smith was surrounded by literally in a triangle with 3 guys right there, Will Howard put it in the tight window, fit it right in there, and Jeremiah Smith said, "Oh, you're behind me? You're not going to catch me. Let's just scoot, keep on scooting to the end zone." 128 receiving yards in your second game in college? That's insane. But also, the luxury is Ohio State can only build off of this. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith's a young guy. He's young. He's a true freshman, but he's not normal. We knew that before, but it's been a whole lot of fun to watch his debut. And for him to wear the scarlet and gray, it just kind of speculate what the young man might do down the road. Thank you for making this postcast your first listen of the day. Now go check out the Locked On College Football podcast, from NIL deals to never-ending conference realignment rumors. Spencer McLaughlin gets you ready for an exciting season on the gridiron. You can find the link to Locked On College Football in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You can follow me on X at jstevens07. Send every single email to jstevens317@gmail.com. This postcast is complete at the conclusion of Ohio State's massive win over Western Michigan. They shut them out. Goose egg. Buckeyes won the game 56-0.